Hello, beer tubers, and Merry Christmas. From me, Peter, the Master of Hoppets. Hope you guys have had a fantastic Christmas. I am actually sitting now on Christmas Day where the kids are sleeping, and soon we will be going to our Christmas party with the family at my sister's place. A new tradition. We've never done it at my place or my sister's place, and having us host Christmas. It's always been our parents, but now with kids involved, traditions are changing. So it's going to be a nice day, but to celebrate Christmas, I wanted to have a couple of beers here to try, sharing it with my girlfriends before going later in the afternoon, that are specialties for the Christmas season in Germany. These are beers that I brought back from my trip down to Bamberg and the Oberfranken area. We went nuts with beer shopping down there. So I got 2 crates of different awesome lagers to share with you guys from brewers I've heard of or that I've tried that I really know are good. And these I actually picked up at the source. These are from Brauerei Wagner in Merkendorf. And Brauerei Wagner is one of the best breweries I discovered down in Franconia. I've actually had the Bock Dunkel before, but I don't really remember it that well. And I think it's maybe before I really got into lager beers. But as soon as I popped these, I could instantly smell these are going to be fantastic. So for the Weihnachtszeit, for the Christmas time, a lot of breweries in Franconia release BOCKBIER. So I have a few Bocks to try. Stronger lager beers. They come both in pale, hell, and dunkel varieties. So it's quite different from brewery to brewery. I even have coming in the mail soon, probably going to be next year, from Mönchengladbach, der Weihnachtsbock, which is one of the most famous Bocks and one of the Bocks that's released the latest compared to all other breweries. It's released in December. Most other breweries release it in November, some even October. And what's also really cool, so Wagner only gives their beer a shelf life of 6 months. So you can drink them quite fresh. That is insane. So these are tapped and released in November. And yeah, they have a Dunkel and a Hell here. And the Hell has won a gold medal at the European Beer Czar, which is quite high acclaim. That's one of the best competitions for beer in the world. They're both 7.5%. And as they state here on the label, they're both 16.8% Plato in the original gravity. And then the Hellerbock has a generously chosen aroma hop addition to give a bock with, or make a bock with a fine hop taste. That's what it says. I'm trying to translate from German here. And then the Dunkel one, the dark one, is a selection of darker malts to give special, sweeter, darker, malty flavors. But also it says some aroma hops in this one. So I think we should start with the Hell, just because it's the light one. So pours a crystal clear golden yellow color. There's still some froth of head sticking to the sides of the glass. Just, it had the most beautiful foam pouring out. We had a small taste of this Hell one at the brewery, and there will be a video where we tour some of these breweries outside of Bamberg. And this is really one of the breweries to me that stood out. It was just fantastic there. The beer was really good. So let's check out the Bock Hell. Oh, it smells really nice, really inviting, really crisp, really clean, with a very generous, grassy and spicy hop aroma. It almost, smells like an imperialized kind of Pilsner type beer. It's definitely more hoppy than a lot of classic Franconian beers. Some of the classic, that's also maybe one of the reasons why I really like Wagner. A lot of their beers have a touch more hop character than some, because it's like spicy and grassy and nettly as well. Maybe not citric, but it feels really robust. And there's even like a slight robust malt character that's like a bit like sourdough or something. It smells for sure more robust than like a Helles or something. It almost, I guess, smells like a hop aromatic imperialized Helles. Smells really good. Let's try it. Cheers. That's damn fine Bock beer. It's almost like a Maibock because it's so hop forward as well. It's so interesting. These kind of beers I wouldn't give a rat's ass for if you asked me a few years ago, and they would probably score low. Right now, I think this is freaking dope. Like with my lager revolution, like if you gave me the choice of this and just whatever Danish hazy IPA, I would choose this. Like, it is fucking great. It might be one of the better my Bocks I've tried, or Bocks. Very hoppy, dry, but a very full body too, 7.5%, kind of like IPA territory. It strikes a great balance between dryness, fullness, and sweetness. There is some sweet, kind of doughy, bready malt. There's some crackery malt, but also like rustic, kind of sourdough type flavor. And the rustic flavor profile, I can't remember if these guys did decoction mashing. I'm actually not sure. Or they have a bit of Munich or something in there just to, like, it's really pale. It's just golden yellow, so. But it could also just be a really good local malt variety. A lot of breweries down there get malt from a small plant in Bamberg and not Weiermann, like a small craft maltery. And I think they're just called Bamberg malt. And the hop character, like the sweetness is there from the malt, but then the hop character just cuts through everything so nicely with the spiciness, bitterness. Feels somewhat bitter as well for Franconian beer. Franconian beers are usually softer. This feels like close to 30 IBUs, maybe around that territory, which I don't mind at all. That really nice lingering peppery spice is really delicious. And then there is even some citric, slightly floral nuances to it as well. That is one of the best Bocks I've had. That is fucking delicious. And it's so drinkable. Like, you'd get in trouble with this. Like, man, it's such great craftsmanship. It's reminding me a bit of drinking Riegele, actually, because it has also, like, Riegele is also a bit more pronounced on hops. This is just a much smaller brewery. Like, they have a small tavern, and then behind the tavern there's, I think, either the brewery or the packaging. But it's tiny. They're in a small town called Merkendorf, and that's very close to another small town called Memmelsdorf, where there's also a couple other breweries to visit if you're ever in town. But yeah, that's great. Let's try and jump over to the Dunkel now, that I've had before, and I don't know what I graded it last time. I'm guessing it's going to be in the 80s because that was before I was totally transitioned into lagers. But usually, in the past, for me, the best Bocks are the Dunkel Bock. So this is not a double Bock, it's not strong enough. So this is a Dunkler Bock. I think double Bocks, is it 8.5%? Which is the cutoff? 7 to 10%. So this could actually be characterized as a double Bock. It's just classified as a Bock, a Dunkler Bock. So a dark Bock beer. They come in a variety of colors. There's Dunkler Bock. There's also something you just called Bock, which is more slightly less dark than this. It's more copperish in color. And then you also got the Hella Bock. There's huge variety in Bock beer. Released for the festive season, but also released for the May time, for springtime with the Maibock. But yeah, this also is beautiful. I mean, it's got this beautiful clear reddish hue to it, mahogany kind of color, and a more beige head, but that also looked wonderful. I mean, just look at that lacing on this glass. Franconian beer quality. Let's check out the aroma on this one. Yeah, much more rustic, much more malty. It's got like loads of toasted, oh, fireworks. Toasted hazelnuts and chestnuts. And on top of all those like nutty nuances, there's like caramel, freshly toasted bread, like an artisanal kind of nut loaf I often talk about. This is all about all the breadness and like Maillard kind of effect to it as well. There's a little bit of like a caramelized crustiness, like either from decoction or like the crazy good malt. It smells so fresh and vibrant too. I've once said juicy maltiness. That's kind of this. Like, it feels so vibrant and fresh. This smells wonderful. There's even like coconut maybe vibes. Let's try it. Cheers. Oh, that's like just a step below double Bock. But to some, this could also be double Bock. That is fantastic. Wow. That is awesome Bock beer. It's almost got like a little bit of a pumpernickel kind of flavor to it because there's some spice. Almost like a bit of anise or fennel, kind of fennel more so maybe. Pumpernickel, fennel, hazelnuts, walnuts, loads of toasted nuttiness. There's definitely some caramel tones, but it's all about like really rustic bitterness. Quite a contrast to the Hell, but still surprisingly massively hoppy for what it is. Not like it's not like crazy hop forward. It's definitely really well balanced, but it has more hops than you'd associate with the style. And the hop character is that spiciness, like grassy and spicy, nestly, not citric in the same way. Like the hops are really well balanced in this with the malt. Like balance on these beers is insane. They're so well balanced. This feels a touch less bitter than the Hell. The Hell seems around the 30 mark. Or at least close to. Whereas the Dunkel, it might be around the same actually. It's just a different experience when the beer is dark. It doesn't seem as bitter. It's so crazy how much I'm getting back into or getting into more traditional stuff and really seeing the beauty of these kind of styles, because these are really flavorsome, but give it to a person who's not into them, who's into craft beer, these are not going to be flavorsome enough. They have to be smack in the face crazy over the top, because high grades equals high flavor profiles or big flavor profiles, which is totally not true. That's not only the way to grade a beer. There's so many other factors. You can't always only grade by if a beer tastes like a lot. Like then that just is the general mindset when people get into beer. I was there myself. I only graded by amounts of flavor in the past. That's just not it. There's so many other factors. There's drinkability, there's balance, there's even the setting you're drinking them in. But I think these two are wonderful bouquet, if you want to say it in, I think they actually say that down there in the area, bouquet, when they mention more than one type of bock. I think I heard someone say that. Or maybe they say bockala, bockala, IRLA, böckala, brüdala, rauchala, the ala, schlenkala. That's a way to finish words in Franconia, in the Bamberg area. And then you go to other areas, like if you go to Bavaria, they finish differently and stuff, which is quite fun. So a lot of bars and things around Bamberg are called something ala because of the dialect there. But these are wonderful beers. Some of the best bocks I've had in recent times. Dare I say, I'm just enjoying them even more the more I'm sipping on them. I think these are really close to world class, if not world class. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go 95 on both. This is early world class Bock beer and some of the best Bock beer I've had. I can't wait to revisit Eyinger Doppelbock and Andexer Doppelbock. Those are two of the highest rated double bocks in the world, and I haven't tried those in years. But they're going to be a joy, I think so. I got those on Beer Dome, and I really can't wait to revisit them. But these are just marvelous, and for 7.5% beers, they are so drinkable. So clean and crisp. Fantastic lagered beer. I wonder how long they lagered these, because they are so clean and crisp. One of my new favorite breweries from Franconia, Brauerei Wagner. These are fucking wonderful beers, and just the more I've sipped on them, the more I'm just totally stoked on them. Yeah, not a 94, 95 for both. Frickin' ace, world-class lager beer. Don't hold back when the beers are this fucking good. Like, I had a tendency to hold back with high grades sometimes, especially when they're lagers, and that's still in me a little bit, and I think still in a lot of people. But this is just such great craftsmanship. You can't fault it. Like, the other bocks I brought home really have something to live up to compared to these two. So yeah, if you guys had a chance to try Brauerei Wagner's Bock Hell or their Bock Dunkel, let me know what you thought of them. Wonderful, wonderful beers. I think they're a must if you want to experience Bock beers. You can probably find these online. They do get outside of Germany and Franconia, and there's even German web shops that have these. So just try and Google and have a look. But if you had either, let me know. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I am amazed that I'm sitting here praising and loving drinking BOCKBIER. Man, how times have changed. This is wonderful. So, one sip of that one. One sip of that one, and cheers. And hope you guys have a very fantastic Merry Christmas. And I'm almost like cheers. In some of the best Franconian beer I think I had on the trip, Wagner Bock, and I can't wait to review some more because I got their entire range. Cheers, and see you guys in another beer review.